Wow. Wow. Okay. Wow. All right. First of all, let me start by saying I didn't hate this finale episode. I know a lot of people hated it. Made a lot of people really angry and really upset. I didn't hate it. I thought most of it was very good. Yeah, okay. And most of the reason for that was this past season has been incredibly disappointed, and it hasn't made me really feel anything. You know, they say bad art doesn't make you feel anything. You know, they say a negative response is better than nothing at all. And this season with its running jokes and its filler, it hasn't been punching me in the gut. This episode made me feel all the things. You know, I was angry, I was frustrated, I was disappointed, I was sad, I was happy, I was uplifted, and at the end it was almost too much, and I just came away from it really confused as to what emotional response I should really be having. But I thought the writing was very good. And I guess let me get this out of the way because it's easy. This was the easiest part. I loved that the cockamouse came back. Like, I was thinking about that the other day, about the cockamouse, and just thinking how, you know, in this love letter to everything that has made the show great, I'm so glad that the cockamouse got to be part of, you know, How I Met Your Mother's greatest hits, along with, you know, Big Fudge, Sasquatch, The Hanging Chad came back, and Major Pleasure, which, looking at it now, that should have been a huge tip-off, a major tip-off, if you will. But for the most part, I thought the writing was very strong. I actually did not mind. Yeah, it was bombshell after bombshell in this episode, but I didn't mind most of what happened. Because from the beginning, as soon as I started watching this show, what I loved about it was how honest it was and how it wasn't afraid to admit that sometimes life just sucks and sometimes things don't work out and sometimes, you know things don't work out right or don't go the way you thought they would, and sometimes bad things just happen. So I actually really enjoyed watching these characters' lives unfold. Seeing Robin and Barney get divorced, you know, seeing Ted and the mother have 2 kids before they get married, you know, seeing Barney get a girl pregnant, which, by the way, I can't believe it's taken this long for Barney to get a girl pregnant. You know, the odds were never in his favor there, but to me, it felt, you think life is not nice and neat and orderly and things don't happen the way you think they should. But that's okay. You know, that doesn't make it bad. Life just happens, you know? You just have to live it. Even if it doesn't live up to your expectations, you can't wait for everything to be perfect to start enjoying your life. And things, you know, this stuff does happen. You know, people grow up and they grow apart and things change and relationships fall apart and it just happens. So I appreciate that kind of story, I guess, a lot better than one where just everything magically works out in the end. I find it a lot more real. Even than a story where characters have to work very hard for their happy ending. Because sometimes you do work very hard and things still don't work out. And honestly, I wish there was a lot more media that kind of balanced that, you know, things don't completely suck all the time, but you don't get that perfect happy ending. If there was more balance, I wish there was more stuff out there like that. So I appreciated what this final episode gave us very much. My favorite scene, my absolute favorite scene, was when Barney holds his daughter for the first time. And by the way, Ellie is the cutest name ever. I love that name. But when he held her and said, you know, you are my everything, everything that I have is yours, you know, everything that I am is yours, I lost it. You know, I was bawling. My mom was bawling. It just, that was... I didn't see that coming from Barney, and it was the perfect way to end his character, and a fantastic echo of what he had said at the beginning of the episode. But no, I don't have a problem with most of what happened. Even the mother being dead. Even Ted and Robin ending up together. Because, you know, taking a step back and looking at the show as a whole, it makes sense for the story that they wanted to tell. You know, I heard that, you know, Carter and Craig said, you know, they had a story in mind and it was going to make some people upset, but it was the story they wanted to tell. You know, looking at the series as a whole, it makes sense. It makes sense now why they wouldn't drop the Ted-Robin storyline. It makes sense now why we never felt the chemistry between Ted and Robin, or never felt the chemistry between Barney and Robin, and it seems so like they shouldn't even be getting married. You know, even looking at from the pilot episode, the way Robin is introduced, it all makes sense. So that, it doesn't bother me that that's ultimately what happened, because it's painfully obvious to everyone that that's what should be happening. And again, it doesn't bother me so much that the mother has been dead the whole time. When I first heard that theory going around, I guess I kind of thought, well, you know, here's the potential for a singularly touching story about how you can wait your whole life for something you really want and then finally get it, only to have it ripped away from you at the last minute or way too soon. That's what I thought they were going for with this, the mother might be dead. That, you know, wasn't that the whole point of the 45 extra days speech? You know, wasn't that the point of us getting messages this season about how it's so easy to lose touch with someone, so when you find someone you want to keep in your life, you better do something about it? Wasn't that the point? What bothers me, what really, really bothered me about this finale was 8 years of build-up for this character. We weren't allowed to see her face or hear her name. All we got were these little details about how she was the perfect woman and complimented Ted and completed him and gave him everything that he could ever have wanted, and she was so worth the wait. And everything that had happened before she came along, she made it all okay because she was worth it, because she was perfect. And I started to think, you know, no matter who they cast in this role, no matter how they sculpt her dialogue, nothing is going to be able to live up to what they've built up over these past 8 years. I was wrong. The character they chose to craft to fill that void with was amazing. You know, and they made us fall in love with her because she was such a good person and so kind and gentle and wise, and she just, as she meets the whole gang, and they fall in love with her one by one because she gives them everything that they need at the exact moment that they meet her. So much so that going back and rewatching old episodes, they were almost better now that I could put a face and a character in the place of those, you know, those vague details. That never happens. That is extremely difficult to pull off when there's been this much build-up to the reveal, and they pulled it off, and they pulled it off wonderfully. So, kudos to the writers for doing that and for giving us a character who we really miss and we really feel when she dies. This is my problem with it. Her death is glanced over. It is a footnote at the end of Ted's story. We get one sentence. Ted said something about, you know, I knew that I had to love this person with everything I could for as long as we had, and that got me through everything. You know, it got me through all the fights, it got me through all the sorrows and the joys, and it even got me through that time when she got sick. And that's it. That's all we got. We don't know what happened to her. We don't know how she got sick. We don't know how long it was. We don't know if she suffered. We didn't get to see her funeral. And in a season, coming at the end of a season that was so overstuffed with pointless gags and running jokes that were not funny and were not fun to sit through, to have that kind of rushed ending is extremely unsatisfying. When Ted finishes his story, and the kids look up, and the first words out of their mouth are, "That wasn't a story about Mom. That was a story about Aunt Robin. Clearly you love her. Go get her." They're not sad. Ted's not sad. Granted, it's been 6 years, but we didn't get to see those 6 years. This was not a story about the mother. And you know, the running joke has always been, How I Met Your Mother really should be called How I Did Everything in the World Except Meet Your Mother, or How I Met and Slept with Every Woman I Dated Before I Met Your Mother. That's been the running joke, but it's always just kind of been a joke. The hard thing for me about this last episode is that we've been asked to believe that this woman is the love of Ted's life. And just knowing her made everything okay, so much so that he missed dearly even the 45 days that he would have liked to have back with her, because I thought the message was going to be, you have to cherish the people that you really love and love them as much as you can for as long as you have with them, because you don't know how much time you'll have left with them. That's what I thought the message was going to be. But it was never about the mother, was it? It was always about Robin. In this story, the mother was just another woman to meet, another stepping stone, before Ted finally ends up with Robin. And I guess in a show that has always been about reversing expectations and demonstrating quite clearly that perfection is unattainable and things don't work out the way you think they would, it fits very much with the tone of the show. And I guess the one thing I did appreciate, if there's a lesson to be taken away from this, it's that, you know, Ted and Robin end up together. Maybe that's really what destiny is. You know, not a chance meeting in the rain, but something that you can't get away from no matter how hard you try. Because Ted and Robin keep coming back to each other, and they always have. And that's the answer. It just... The mother, her character, she deserved so much better than that. For her to just be an afterthought, or something that was one more thing to delay the inevitable for Ted ultimately getting back together with Robin, it didn't feel fair to her. In a show that was named after her, she deserves better than that. I want to thank you all for watching these videos. I especially want to thank Luis Renteria and Ori Feldman for commenting week to week, because you guys gave me the motivation I needed to keep producing these videos. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with me. Thank you for letting me share my thoughts with you. And as always, I'm eternally optimistic, and I will catch you guys next time. Take care.